the shores of beautiful Nassau, Bahamas. Welcome to Walking in Victory with Bishop Neil C. Ellis. The powerful and prophetic ministry of Bishop Neil C. Ellis is impacting the lives of believers all around the world. His bold and forthright presentation of spiritual truths and biblical principles is sure to change your life forever. Get ready to experience a fresh approach to ministry as this anointed author and pastor teaches us how to walk in victory.
Walking in victory.
Well, God bless you today and welcome to another edition of Walking in Victory. This is Neil Ellis and I'm delighted to be sharing these moments with you today. Well, we're on the final leg of our Winning the War series. We've covered worry, we've covered doubt, we've covered fear. And today we're going to be dealing with winning the war over discouragement. For someone to ask you if you've ever been discouraged, it's like asking, are you human? Because rarely, if ever, will you find a person who has never been discouraged. If the enemy does not get you with worry, and if the enemy does not sink you with doubt, if the enemy does not drown you with fear, be well assured that he will definitely come after you with discouragement. While everything nailed down is coming loose and almost everything around you is changing, don't be discouraged. In this changing world with its shifting ideologies, we serve a God who never changes, and he has plans for your life. My brothers and sisters, discouragement is still one of the devil's greatest weapons. It's the devil's trump card. If we refuse to deal with discouragement head on, we are opening the door for it to completely dominate our lives. The truth is, if discouragement is not dealt with head on, it will eventually lead to depression. And depression is discouragement on steroids. Because unhandled depression will lead to despair. And untreated despair makes death look attractive. I want you, my brothers and sisters, to understand that discouragement has a tendency of lingering around until you break it. And that's why today I want you to pay close attention to this message on winning the war over discouragement. Stay tuned and I'll talk to you at the end of the telecast. For several days, it was widely advertised that the devil was putting up for sale all of his tools. On the day of the sale, the tools were laid out with prices marked on them for public inspection. Among the tools on the table were hatred, envy, jealousy, deceit, pride. Of course, you know lying was on the table. And there were so many others. But set apart from the rest of the devil's inventory was a tool that was worn out more than any of the others and priced higher than all of the others. What's the name of this tool? Asked one of the customers. Oh, that one, the devil replied. That's discouragement. Why have you priced it so high? Asked the customer. Because discouragement, the devil said, is more useful to me than all of the others. With it, I can pry open and get inside of a man's heart when I can hardly get near him with any of the other tools. It's badly worn because I used it on almost everyone, since so few know it belongs to me. The devil's price, ladies and gentlemen, was so high on that tool that it was never sold. He still uses discouragement on people the world over to this day. For someone to ask you if you've ever been discouraged is like them asking, are you human? Because rarely, if ever, will you find a person who has never been discouraged. If the enemy does not get you with worry, and if the enemy does not get you with doubt and fear, be well assured that he will definitely come after you with discouragement. My brothers and sisters, discouragement is still one of the devil's greatest weapons. As a matter of fact, it's his trump card. You will agree with me, I'm sure, that life is hard. Life is a battle. Life is full of discouraging circumstances. Even the most blessed of people, the most successful, the most spiritually mature, face constant disappointment and discouragement. Job felt discouraged
with his wife and friends.
Elijah became discouraged
with life circumstances.
Job felt angry and discouraged with God
when he believed God was against him.
And Peter felt discouraged with himself
when he realized that he wasn't as courageous as he thought he was.
Discouragement and disappointment are normal emotions we all experience. Discouragement, though, is not a death sentence. It does not have to stop you. You must get to the place in your life where if you run into a wall, you don't turn around and give up. You either find a way to climb it, go through it, or walk around it. Colonel Sanders was rejected by more than 900 restaurants who refused to accept his chicken recipe as anything worthwhile. He was so discouraged. But he kept on pressing, and it was not until the age of 61 that he started Kentucky Fried Chicken. Alexia told me earlier today that today more than 15,000 Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants exist in 105 countries. Ronald Reagan ran in the Republican primaries several times and lost. He was discouraged, but he kept on trying. Finally, winning the Republican nomination, and at the age of 69, became president of the United States of America. He was 69. He went on to win an additional 4-year term at the age of 73. Oprah Winfrey had a rough and abusive childhood. As a young adult, she was fired from a job as a television reporter because, according to her boss, she was unfit for television. She was so discouraged. But she pursued her dream, and today, Oprah is known as one of the most iconic faces on television, as well as one of the richest and most successful women in the world. Walt Disney had a rough start. As a teenager, he was fired by a newspaper editor because, according to the editor, he had no imagination and no good ideas. Oh, he was so discouraged. But he mustered up enough strength to keep going and went on to create Walt Disney World, which today rakes in billions of dollars every year from merchandise, movies, and theme parks. Oswald Chambers once said, if you're going through a time of disappointment, there is a time of great personal growth ahead of you. Life's biggest opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, are not always obvious. As we go to the text, let's look at the facts. The children of Israel were slaves in Egypt. God called Moses and gave him an assignment to deliver them from the strong, oppressive hand of Pharaoh. It took 10 plagues, 10 viruses to convince Pharaoh to let God's people go. God delivered them out of Pharaoh's hand, and then he miraculously delivered them from Pharaoh and his army by parting the Red Sea and allowing them to cross over on dry land. God led them out of Egypt and across the wilderness, and in the text, they are now standing in view, good God, of the promised new land. Long before they had come to where they are now, God had promised the children of Israel, while they were still slaves in Egypt, that he would do at least 3 things. 1, deliver them from 400 years of slavery. 2, bring them out of the land of Egypt. And 3, take them into a good land that's flowing with milk and honey. Let's drop down to verse 30 because I'm getting too happy with this.
Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome.
There were 12 spies sent out. 10 came back with the report that we are not able. Caleb and Joshua came back with a different report. Caleb became the spokesman for him and Joshua. Caleb quieted the people, said, hold on, wait up, just a minute. Let's go up at once. Take possession of this land God promised us, because we are well able to overcome what we see. Oh, my Lord. Caleb had seen the same thing the other spies had seen. Giants, fortified walls, powerful armies. But yet his response was completely different from that of his colleagues. It's amazing how people can look at the same data, be confronted with the same facts, experience the same events, and draw totally different conclusions. I want you to know, while others during this shutdown period and this time of isolation and during this pandemic, while others around you are complaining and grumbling and just waiting to get out of the house, start thinking, start planning, start putting goals together for when you get out of the house. Let's go down to verse 31, please.
But the men who had gone up with him said, We are not
able. I'm sorry to interrupt. Please read it.
We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we.
Who told them that? Who told them these people are stronger than they are? It was a mind issue. They looked at them, saw their sizes, and concluded they're stronger. I want to remind people across this country, wherever else you are, watching and tuning in, not because something is bigger means it's stronger. Everything huge is not necessarily grown. Everything big is not necessarily fully matured. They looked, and based upon what they saw, they concluded, if we try to go back and take this land, we will be wiped out. Keep in mind now, these men are stronger than they are, the people are saying, the spies are saying, and yet they came out of the land with some of these people's fruits unscathed, matter of fact, untouched, unharmed. The men who had gone up with him said, we are not able. Get that language out of your mouth. Don't let what your eyes are seeing determine what your heart will believe. They said, we are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than us. Translation, we don't have what they have. We are no match for them. They are giants, and they will beat us down. That's what they concluded. But Caleb said, let's go. We are well able. Let's go. Instead of you sitting around grumbling about how long your hotel is going to be closed, suppose the closure of the hotel has something to do with you now moving into your real destiny. Maybe when the hotel reopens, you are not on God's agenda to go back there. Sometimes our greatest opportunities are not obvious. When it comes to fulfilling your life's assignment, how people see you, how people evaluate you, the category people put you in, for the most part, is not what really matters. What truly matters is how you see yourself. In the midst of this COVID-19 experience, during this lockdown and isolation phase, be careful how you see yourself. Don't let a job define you. Don't let a crisis define you. Don't let your employment status define you. While you are unemployed, while you are experiencing shortages, while you are dealing with issues that you've never dealt with in your life as an adult, be careful how you see yourself. Because the way you see yourself is usually how other people see you.
There we saw the giants, the descendants of Anak. And we were like grasshopper in our own sight.
Watch this then. He says now, we saw giants. We saw giants. We saw giants. And then we looked at ourselves. And when we looked at ourselves, watch the text. Read verse 33 one more time, please.
There we saw the giants, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight.
In our own sight. We saw the giants, then we looked at ourselves. And when we looked at ourselves, we were like grasshoppers in our own sight. Read the final piece.
And so we were in their sight.
And because we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, that's how the giants saw us. After they saw themselves as grasshoppers, the giants began to see them as grasshoppers, not before. And listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful how you see yourself, because however you see yourself, that's how other people will see you. And people will treat you based upon how you see yourself. If your perspective is not right, the sight of giants in your life will drive you into discouragement and make you see yourself as something inferior, insignificant, and powerless. All of your life,
you have been fighting with yourself.
all of your life,
You have been pulling against yourself.
all of your life.
You have been sabotaging your life's assignment.
But I have good news for you. The wind of the Spirit is blowing in change. Be of good courage, because everything that has been holding you back, and everything that has been shutting you down, and everything that has been standing in your way, ladies and gentlemen, is backing up as I speak to you today. I had a wonderful experience. And the Lord allowed me to look over our land. In the midst of this national crisis, and during this global pandemic, He showed me the landscape. He showed me faces of thousands of people in our fair land. Brothers and sisters, when I saw you, I did not see you as failures. I didn't see you as quitters and losers. I didn't see victims and rejects. That's not what God showed me. I saw faith walkers, giant killers, mountain movers, life changers. I saw a mighty army with a winning spirit, marching on to victory with their hands up and their fists balled. And here's what they were clearing. Some trust in chariots, some trust in horses, but we will trust in the Lord our God. Well, we've come to the end of the Winning the War series. Over the last 4 weeks, we've dealt with winning the war over worry, doubt, fear, and today, discouragement. I want to encourage you to get a hold of this entire series. Listen and watch the messages again, because I believe they will each be a blessing in your life. Now listen, Patrice is going to join you next week. I know you're looking forward to that. But in the meantime, whatever else you do for the rest of this week, I want you to know you've been anointed to walk in victory. God bless you.
Stay connected with Neil Ellis Ministries via our social media networks. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Here you'll find daily inspiration, motivational quotes, photos, and videos. Don't want to miss another live event? Follow us on Livestream. You can do this by either downloading the app or by visiting www.livestream.com. You will have access to Bishop Ellis's weekly television broadcast, live events, and so much more. Follow us today and stay connected.
Bishop Neil C. Ellis's latest book, The In-Between, The Journey Between Your Dream and Your Destiny, is creating a lot of buzz. People from all walks of life are talking. Devon Franklin says The In-Between is a must-read for anyone in pursuit of their destiny and in need of encouragement along the way. TV host and pop culture expert John Murray says this insightful roadmap to achieving your best life will show you why Bishop Ellis has earned the distinction of being your favorite leader's favorite leader. International attorney Willie E. Gary says The In-Between is a literary masterpiece. Dr. Jamal H. Bryant says reading this book will invigorate you to push to the end. My Bishop has penned a prescription for people who are in between so that you breathe in the go-between. Dr. Carolyn Shoel raves it's a revelatory resource that serves as a roadmap, showing us the way to next, leading you out of your stagnation and into perpetual movement in God. Dr. Kenneth C. Ulmer writes, Neil Ellis takes you on a journey filled with exhortations, instructions, and revelations on the value, the mandate, and significance of doing your assignment. Get your copy today and let's see what you have to say. Bishop Neil C. Ellis's The In-Between, The Journey Between Your Dream and Your Destiny. Now available at Amazon.com, BooksAMillion.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or anywhere books are sold.
Troubles can make it seem like you can't reach your dreams, but know that you've been made free and you're walking in victory.
Bishop Neil C. Ellis and the Mount Tabor Church family in Nassau, Bahamas wish to thank you for viewing the Walking in Victory broadcast and invite you to tune in next week to experience this powerful prophetic ministry. Should you wish to correspond with Bishop Ellis, please write him at P.O. Box N9705, Nassau, Bahamas, or email him at info@neilellisministries.com.
Walking in victory.